Hi everyone, my name is Ujjwal Gautam and I welcome you to my YouTube channel. So we'll be starting with the post-market analysis and the projections for the next day. So starting from the day chart of Nifty and Bank Nifty, the key levels that has been marked over here is are these levels. There is a good pivot support over here, as you can see. So from where the market has taken a good support, good rally upwards. So probably tomorrow we can see a good rally breaking this range and we can see the movement upwards, a good movement. Apart from this, market is still in a consolidated range. So as we can see, 4 days of the consolidated period within 50 moving as well as 20 moving average. So now coming to the shorter time frame, 1 hour time frame, we can see that market is still in a consolidated zone, in a consolidated period. So any possibility breaking this level would be upwards, and if the price opens or breaches this level, we'll be seeing a rally downwards, like over here till here. So basically, if we talk about the levels for today that we marked on the previous day. So these were the levels over here. These were the levels from previous day. This was the initial balance higher, or you can say the high of the day. Both were the same. This was the initial balance low, which was breached in the later hours. And now for the current session, it was a strong turning point for the market, as well as the closing price was also near the initial balance low. One more point of confluence was the midpoint, which was also located near this region. So it was this price point was a very important price point that market has respected today. So basically, it took its support from the uh, demand zone and eventually rallied up to the closing price, took a small rejection at the closing price of yesterday and gave a good breakout over here. So my entry was basically this one where I took the entry. Actually today was also a very good gap down day. So basically when there is a gap down and there is a rejection candle, it is somewhat a sort of red candle. So what happens कि ये वाली जो रेड कैंडल होती है, जब लोगों ने यहाँ पे शॉर्ट किया होगा तो अपना स्टॉप लॉस यहाँ पे रखा होगा, इवेंचुअली इसके ऊपर रखा होगा. तो जब मार्केट ने इसको ब्रीच किया तो देयर वाज अ वेरी गुड मोमेंटम, बट eventually what happened, market couldn't sustain the strength of the rally upwards and it took the sudden rejection and came back to the open price. So this was the open price today. It took its support from the open price and then started rallying upwards, and eventually it was a good trending day. Talking about the CPR levels, CPR for today was also very narrow, showing it a trending day. So actually, I booked a loss today. Basically, my entry was on this candle when I saw this bullish candle over breaching the CPR level. I took the entry over here. Though I was in good profit and price almost rallied to up to 38 points and eventually then failed. My target was 51 points, but we couldn't hit the target today and eventually booked the stop loss. My stop loss was a genuine one, which was below these strong levels. So there was a monthly pivot level as well as weekly pivot as well as CPR support as well as the important midpoints and closing price of that of previous day. So second time when market breached this level, it took continuous support and then started its rally upwards. It took the support again and again. It stopped at the daily pivot over here where it took continuous rejections over here. Market was good bullish because it was following a sloping EMA levels and it took continuous support from its moving average. So this was basically the analysis for Nifty. Now talking about Bank Nifty levels. Bank Nifty was also performing somewhat similar today, not very particular or not very similar, but today was a very narrow range day, very narrow range day. So here, as we can see, weekly as well as daily pivot. So the market has followed a strong sideways trend, and these were the levels from the previous day, which was rarely touched. It was touched hardly two times, and eventually it couldn't break these levels. So for tomorrow, we can see a good rally either upwards or downwards because the CPR is going to be very narrow for tomorrow. Yeah, no, it is going to be very similar like today. So eventually we can see a consolidated day tomorrow as well. Let's see what happens. So the important levels for today that we'll be marking would be the high of tomorrow, high of today, which is this one. Let us close all these things. So the important levels are the high of the day, this one, the low of the day, the low of the day, the initial balance high over here. This was the initial balance high, initial balance low, as well as the midpoint of the day. This is the midpoint over here, 35,516, 31,516. This is the midpoint of the day and the closing price. So these are very important levels that we have to look out for tomorrow. And was a very strong supply zone from the previous day, or you can say of the 1st June. This was a strong supply zone here where the market followed vigorously and then again took support and gave a good movement upwards. So for tomorrow, we'll be looking to enter up in this range and we'll be hoping to rally market upwards till this level. So these are the key levels. And if we talk about Nifty, so निफ्टी में तो आज हमारा स्टॉप लॉस हिट हुआ है. अगर हम अपने लेवल्स को डिलीट कर दें और आज के हम लेवल्स अपने बनाएं, तो सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट लेवल जो है हमारा आज के लिए, यानी कि आज हमें जो ये लेवल्स मिले हैं वो एक तो हाई मिला है. दिस वाज द हाई, दिस वाज द क्लोजिंग प्राइस, this was the low price, and this was the initial balance. This was the initial balance which was later broken, and next time it took support from here, and this is basically a sideways day, sideways trend over here, and then it started picking rallying upwards. So basically we were all trapped here. All bulls were trapped here by the bears. Now these are going to be good levels for tomorrow. Yeah. So this level, the closing price, the initial balance high. This was the initial balance high. This was the low of the day. This was, yeah. These are going to be important levels to watch for tomorrow. Any breakout from this level upwards will be entering wrong, as well as if we see any rejection from this region, this area, will be shorting till the CPR, wherever the CPR is. So tomorrow there is going to be a wide CPR day. So let's see what happens for tomorrow. Until then, happy trading everyone, and thank you for watching my video.